Hey, what's up, guys? Just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the new Radeon software. I know I did a video a little while ago, going over like the last version of it. Well, they had a 2020 Adrenaline update, so some of you might have new software, so it might be a little bit confusing. I'm gonna tell you how to check for your drivers, make sure your drivers are updated, and to at least add a fan curve to your graphics card, and that's important because you want to have your card cooling itself down properly. So let's go ahead and start. Right click, open up this, and most likely you'll be right here. And this looks kind of confusing at first, but it's really not. Just take your time. Like I was saying, your drivers are usually over here. But if you want to do everything at once, hit settings, and you'll see the drivers. You'll see all the settings right here that you can change. Okay, so you got the graphics settings, these different features that they have, display settings, your color, your temperature controls, video, same thing for when you're watching movies. Hotkeys shows you what the hotkeys do. Um, Accounts if you have any that you want to link up to it, so when you do stream, it goes to your Twitch account like I have here. Um, but basically for your drivers, so you see here, this is what you have now. And check for updates. Okay, usually I have mine set to recommended and optional, but for you, for any normal people that don't like to mess around with their drivers too much and download something that might not work, usually I go with the recommended only. That way, you're not trying optional drivers that might be unstable and have to revert and all that stuff. So to be safe, use recommended only. You can set it to automatic if you want. I usually have mine on manual, so I check mine every week or so. So that's easy for me to do. That way you don't, have updates while you're in the middle of a game or something else popping up telling you you have updates. So I usually just check it myself, and if there's one, it will ask you or prompt you to download it and install it. And once you install it, you want to go ahead and restart your computer every time you do a driver update, whether that's CPU or your chipset drivers, motherboard drivers. Um, okay, so second thing I was going to show you guys is how to set up a fan curve. If you do a driver update, most likely things will be changed and put back to stock settings. And that's what this is here, factory reset. So if you do have a factory reset, everything will be back to normal, even if you did have something set before the update. So you might want to go back in and change it to back where you want to, or you might have set it up and you're like, okay, well now I want to do my fans. What do I do now? So um, go to performance, tuning, and then most likely yours will be set to automatic. Um, and sometimes a different graphics card will show different information and all that stuff, and have different settings for undervolts and overclocks. And usually, what you want to do is when you want to put it to manual, and over here you'll see all these different check marks. You want to make sure all of them are enabled. Open everything up so you can see what's going on, and then you can fine tune. This here is your frequency, so this is how you overclock. Okay, so you have your frequency. I have mine at 1849 and this is the volts that it's at. Yours can be different. You don't have to mess with that if you don't want to. Leave it stock. First thing you might want to do is just turn your power limit up, so that way if it does decide to boost and the temperatures are good, it will give itself more power and able to overclock a little bit by itself. Most newer cards have that. So, but anyway, your fans. This is your fan control. You want to make sure things are enabled. Enable. It might look something like this. So you want to at least turn on this here and come down to fan tuning. Fine tuning controls. You want to make power stage 5 100% fan speed. Um, I'd say anything 70-ish or below, or maybe 75, depending on how your card's running. Um, because sometimes the fans can be pretty loud, and you might not be worried about the temps too much. But for me, 70 degrees is about where you want the card to be blowing 100% fan speed to keep things nice and cool. Um, and then once you have things set up how you like it, you go up here and you save the profile. And you can name it fan settings, or you can take a settings that I have here, right click on it, replace it, and now it's saved. So that way if you do an update and it resets all your stuff, you can come back into performance, tuning, and then load that profile. Click on fan settings, and there you go. So as you can see, 1849, and let's say I want to put on my overclock settings. Put that on, and that's my overclock settings. And then everything is ready to go. And that changes all my stuff to how I like it. But let's say my undervolt settings. So you click on that, and there's my undervolt settings. And that's how you do that. And if you ever, go and messing with stuff, let's say you want to make this 1870, you just click it, 1870, enter, apply changes. And then you can save that to my undervolt settings. Okay, now it's saved. And if I ever want to go to it again, just load it. And you want to make sure you check this every time before you play a game, because sometimes the software can be kind of finicky and you don't want it to not have your fans ramped up how they should be. So um, let's see, I want to put that back down to 1849 like I had it. Seemed to be pretty stable at that voltage and stuff like that. So apply to change, save profile under volt settings, and I'm done. So, but you can see all your stuff here if you just go through and take your time with it. It's pretty intuitive. It's easy to use if you just mess around. It does look like there's a lot to it, but here's all your global settings. Your global graphics. I usually keep mine on standard, but it's not really that tough to use. You can really mess around with it, and you can change the profile for each game that you have. However you like it for that game. If a game you like it's tougher to run, you might want to turn on like enhanced sync or whatever, however you want to do that. Streaming, it's your normal streaming setup, and if you have it set to Twitch, it will broadcast to Twitch and show your thing here. You can turn on chat, see what's chatting, who's chatting. But yeah, that's it. There's my average frames for Division 2 over the last 10 hours. You can launch the game from here if you wanted. Adjust the game itself, graphics, settings for your media, your recording, profile, recording. Then you have your live streaming, resolution for your streaming. You can change that to what you want. Your frames per second. Yeah, I mean, just go through, take your time. But like I said, the main thing is just to make sure you have performance tuning and make sure you have some sort of fan profile set at the very least. If you want to mess around with the voltage and all that stuff, that's on you. Usually you can just leave a card stock. I mean, there's really only a few cards that are worth overclocking these days. Most of the cards come out of the factory, ready to go, and they boost on their own anyway. I'm the kind of guy that likes to finick and play around with stuff. So um, anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. I just kind of wanted to show you guys a rundown of what all this stuff does and kind of walk you through on how to set stuff up and check for updates and download new drivers. And that's pretty much it, guys. If you guys have any more questions, you want to, ask me something, or you want me to touch on something specifically, just leave it down in the comments and I'll take care of you. If you're new here, I have a website not a website, but like a page on Facebook called Steel Tech PCs. If you go there, you can see all my builds and stuff like that. A lot of you guys that are watching this video probably already bought one from me, so I really appreciate that. So if you want to reach out and send me a message, you can do that through that, or you can just drop a message down below and I'll get to you. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Have a good one.